Hey, good morning, LinkedIn. Dave Wilson of Results Staffing. You know what time it is. Here we go. I still love that introduction. Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday. I know, right? You should be off, I hope. Hey, listen, I wanted to go over today exit interviews and videos. And I want to also let you know that, hey, I went to Philadelphia. This is almost gone. All the staples have been removed, and I still have a brain. So the lesson, you see all the marks. The lesson is don't text and walk alongside the river and roll 20 yards and then off a cliff and land on rocks. It doesn't work. So, or you'll split your head all the way. But thanks to Philadelphia Jefferson Hospital and all the 20 firefighters, let me tell you, 2 weeks ago, that was something. I'm never going to forget it. And they did a lot for me. Good morning. Here he is. I figured you'd like that. Hey, that introduction only costs $17, man. If you want to know how, I'll let you know. Email me afterwards or message me. So this morning I wanted to talk to you about exit interviews. And it's a sore subject for me personally, because if you're in high volume and you're trying to do the exit interviews, listen, if you say you've done them, all of them, you haven't. It's so hard. And I feel sometimes you really need to take the advice of the employees if they're really leaving your client. Something's wrong. So if you can't get a hold of them, or if they say they just quit, why? Why did they quit? And I'm guilty of this. I am so guilty to where sometimes you need to push back to the client. Really need to tell them what happened or why the employees are leaving. What is the feedback? Why don't they like going to your company for work? Why do they walk off the job? When you look at an exit interview, it's really asking pretty good questions. I mean, think about it. You're getting that feedback from them. And again, if you don't want to rock the boat, I just think a lot of it comes down to where, and again, I am guilty of it. Sometimes you don't want to upset the customer. Now, besides if it's little things, but whenever it came to any kind of harassments or anything like that, man, I'll tell you what, that is something you got to confront right there. Don't ever, ever, ever let that be an excuse to have an employee walk off. I want to give you a little story, and this is the truth. So a company called, and I went out. This was my prior company, and I went to the meeting, and they sat there in the meeting, and they drilled me. I was a market manager, and they were saying, "We don't even know why you're here." I was like, "What?" You know, how terrible we were prior. Bad. We were bad. And I was like, man, this guy was tearing it up. So was the other guy. He walked in. He said some words I didn't even like. And this is the truth. I swear to you, I'm not lying. You might have a brain injury, but I'm not lying. So after he got done with all his schmeal, I asked him, is it my turn now? I said, because I don't even know why I'm here. I said, I don't know why I'm here. I don't even want to take a tour unless it's like 40% markup. I wasn't going to do the same thing. So they liked that little pushback, I think. So they wanted to, it was high production. It was production like I Love Lucy. You know, you were going down the lines, and the tour was great. I was like, wow, this is a nice place. The machines, the noise, the break room, free coffee, spotless. And I'm thinking, why is the problem? What is the problem? The shift was perfect, 7 to 3. Back, you know, it was about 2 years ago. It was, you know, pay rate was a little low, but we didn't have what we have going on now. So I was all excited. I said, we'll do this, you know. So we started and we did everything, and people started to quit. The candidates would come back in the office saying they weren't rotating them and their wrists were hurting. They weren't rotating. They were supposed to rotate them every 30 minutes or something. It's all right. So we emailed over there. No response. So the next day we had other people show up. And again, we had people come back, quit. They said they're not going back there because they won't rotate. Email, finally got a response. He says, no, we always do that. We always rotate. It has to be done that way. Okay, just telling you, you wanted to hear, because that was one of the commitments I made to him, Steve. And I told him, if you want to know the reason, because they had 5 agencies in there for 50 positions. 5. Can you imagine? You need 5 companies to staff 50 people. That's friggin' ridiculous. So that was a red flag. That's a red flag right off the bat. But I liked the shift. I liked how clean it was. And I thought, well, there are people that can work for this hourly rate in that area. And we got really good response because of the shifts. So he had told me, no, that wasn't an issue. The next, I had people coming in, candidates leaving, saying because they were disrespected by 3 full-time employees of the company. What do you mean? They said they were yelling at them. They would treat them differently. They wouldn't do this. And, you got to listen. They're your employees. I was like, what the heck? So emailed. This is what you wanted to hear, the excuse. You asked me for that exit interview, and I was going to tell you the truth. This is what the employees are saying. So he says, no, they don't cause no problems. Next day, 2 or 3 more people quit. Come back in there. Oh, we're not working there. These 3 individuals. So we sent another email. No, there's no response. So now all these candidates are coming into you saying all these negative things. So you can see like one thing. Hey, listen, I get it. 2, there's always 2 sides of the stories. But when it's the same excuse, right? So then a lot of the candidates were just quitting because they didn't like the work. All right. So they sent us a video, and I'm going to talk about that, a video of what you would be doing. So you could actually sit the candidate down, sit on the laptop, and show them what the job is, because this way they know what they're doing. A lot of people don't realize when you go into manufacturing, those production lines, they don't stop. You don't stop. You don't get the luxury of walking around. You stay in one spot. So we thought we had it there. But then people just started quitting. The same thing. 3 individuals. Listen, we sent emails. We didn't hear anything left. Nothing back from him. He didn't even place no more orders with us. And you know what? I didn't care. I'm just being truthful. I did not care at all whether we received orders from that company or not, because if he was like that and he told me to tell him the truth, maybe the company should investigate that, because that's why they were leaving. Maybe that's why you have 5, 6 agencies for up to 70 people, and you got a great markup. The markup was great. You could get a great markup. I was like, whoa, we're going to make some money off of this, and keep it. But we couldn't hold the people there. Just out. They were gone. So it's not always about the job. Really, some clients will say, that's not my problem, that's yours. And I've said that before. No, especially now, it is your problem. And it's our problem. So if I was to come to you and say, this supervisor, and I've had this happen, this supervisor has been harassing this employee. Some companies won't confront all the issues. They'll just let them quit and walk away. But you got to be careful of that. If somebody, nip it in the butt, nip it right in the butt, email that HR director. Because I guarantee the HR director, if she or he, they really care about their employees, they will look into it. They're not afraid. That's their job. HR is there for you. Do not be scared of HR. Listen, HR scares the hell out of me. I used to. I'm hoping I never have to go back to corporate, but the HR just doesn't call you up to say, hey, how's it going, Dave? Come on in. You're either getting let go or written up or something, but don't be afraid to go to human resources and tell them your problems, because that's their job. If some of the candidates, full-time or staffing, listen, we would always tell them to come to us first, but some would tell the customer. That's okay. All I care is that it was confronted. So this way, Again, a lot of people don't want to stir up the pot. Hey, Bob, there's the Bob. There he is, man. How's it going, sir? They don't want to stir up the pot because they're afraid they're going to lose the client. Well, maybe if they listen, maybe that supervisor's wrong. Maybe that supervisor is being biased. Maybe that supervisor is doing this, because if you hear the same problems over and over and over, if you confront it and don't just let it go, it's going to bite you in the butt, because it's going to come back to you, especially if it's for harassment or something. You're going to hear back from it. So really, it is your problem. It's the staffing agency's problem, and it's the client's problem. So if you're not talking, especially in high volume right now, if you're not trying to figure out what's going on, why are they leaving? Is it money? Because I'll tell you what, a lot of it, I was telling my wife yesterday, a lot of it is not all about the money. If it's $1 or $2 difference, some of it is just the employer. They're mean. I mean, some of the words they use are tougher than that. But they're the kind of things you have to confront. You have to tell your supervisor, you have to tell your on-site manager, listen, this is what's happening. And if it's professionally done, you'll do that. And then also one other thing before you terminate somebody, I wanted to say, you have procedures. Majority, I don't care whether you're in a staffing company, because I tell everybody, if you're working for a staffing company, you're working. I found my last 3 jobs from staffing companies. There's nothing wrong with saying, oh, you're just a temp. Those days are over. You're just a temp. I'll tell you, we've talked about that word before. They're just temporary people. Hey, there's Nancy. Oh, I haven't. Holy crow, Nancy. John Maxwell. How you doing, Nancy? I heard you're doing pretty good with Richard on that show. Something about some kind of hot peppers last week. But when it comes to ending the assignments of an employee, especially now, as a staffing company, I would confront it right there. I will verbal warning, then it is usually a written warning, then a final warning, and then termination. That's the way it should be. Okay. Again, I'm going to say this. If you want to hold on to the employees during peak season right now, a verbal warning. Does your supervisor verbal? Did they reach out to the staffing company? Probably not. A written. Let the staffing agency know so you can write the employee up and investigate. That doesn't mean. Third, give that employee a final warning. Naturally, if it's something bad, if you're talking something dangerous, unsafe, listen, that's automatically termination, or something be doing something unsafe like that. But follow the procedures. Don't call up the staffing company and say, we don't want them. We don't like their attitude. You don't like their attitude. Do you know the person? I'm not I am sticking up for some, because I've had that happen in the past, and I'm guilty. You don't like their attitude. Well, do they work hard? Have you asked the person what's wrong with them? Have you walked up and say, hey, how's it going? How's it going today? Listen, and you might retain that employee. Your retention rate will go up, because maybe it just took that first human resources, or your on-site, or the supervisor, or a friend to say something. Listen to the candidate, and maybe out of 6, 7 people, you're going to save 4 to 5, and follow the procedures. So that comes to my last point, Nancy, and I know you agree to this, and Bob, and everybody is. A couple of years ago, we used to tour the employees in the staffing industry. We'd always have them come through. You could bring 10, walk them through. You've done all your hiring paperwork, do your orientations, and show them what to be doing. And at the end of that, we would always say, okay, everybody, listen, when you leave here, do you like this job or not? You would get like 3 or 4 of them say, no. Perfect. We have something else for you. Nowadays, it's hard to do that, because there's no time. Or if you want to make the time, that's a smart. But there is a way. And and I know Nancy and everybody on here, and Liam and Bob can say is, to me, if I was working for a company right now, all these jobs, right? You see on job boards, show a video. Amazon does a great job. Listen, they do a great job. You might not like Amazon. People might not like working there, some of them, but they show you what you're doing. So if it was me for retention, take a video of what the candidates will be doing, because they come there that first day and it just says pick and packing. Did you tell them that there were 25 pounds? Did you tell them there were 40 pounds they had to lift? Did you tell them this? Did you tell them that? You probably didn't. You just filled that body. And I'll never forget, a manager at FedEx said, Dave, I'd rather you send me 5 good candidates than 15, because half of them are all gone. They're all gone. And when you hear that, that's where you say, wow, you're just filling that body. So show them what they're doing. Take your cell phone. I know a lot of companies will say, oh, for security. Come on, that's not true. Let's see what Nancy says here. They do a great job for sure, and videos are important to use. Exactly. You can hire a company to come in, and because of security, that's not right. I don't care what you say. You can say all you want about it's because security purposes. For what? You're picking clothing or you're picking something. Just take it showing what the employee's doing. That way you can sit there and say, maybe I want to do that job. Like, I know a couple great logistic companies in the Lehigh Valley. iHerb, it's a great place to work. It's climate controlled, really nice, clean. They're the kind of things they need to see, and Brenningsville. I'm going to give a shout out for Chris in Brenningsville. Nestle Waters, they're hiring $17 to $21 an hour, forklift jobs, full time. Seeing the operation, very clean, really structured. And that's what candidates like. They don't like to just be thrown into it, and you expect them to do it, but nobody showed them. Do you know why you have to wear steel-toe shoes? Did you tell them? Again, I'm as guilty of that. And I think as you progress, in your career, that's where the experience comes in of saying, okay, what did you say? Or not be afraid to go back to that client and tell them the reason why you want to leave. So on that note, everybody, we got a show coming up later on today. You got Nancy. Nancy, good luck with that, Richard. But I think Richard's coming on later on today, and we got some people. So everybody have a great Saturday. I got to go out to Barnes & Nobles and read with my son. Get that, Barnes & Nobles and read. If you ever want to go and just relax, go and sit in one of those chairs and get some coffee. My son loves it because I fall asleep. Let's see here. Another point you made is so true. I hate working with human resources that just want bodies and blame you. Yes. And I'm going to re-average, Nancy, that. I'm going to go over that one more time. Human resources should not be doing recruiting. Sorry. Human resources directors should not be doing staffing in your company if you have a staffing company. Their job is to help humans. If that makes sense. Helps humans. You help a human, if they have problems. Can you imagine if the human resources director had time to really walk out on that floor and talk to her employees? Most of them don't, because they're bogged down with trying to make doing proposals. You have HR doing proposals, contracts, staffing, morning meetings. When are they supposed to have time to help people, humans? So on that note, Nancy, that was a great point. Get out, human resources, get out there and just talk to their people. But it's not their fault, because corporate just takes away half of all their jobs. And the next thing you know, I swear, I predict that you're going to have safety coming back onto the human resources manager. Oh, you're responsible for safety too. But on that note, I got to get going. So everybody have a great day and talk to you soon.